Hi, this is Mike, and I get a lot of questions about how and when and why you should air down your tires when overlanding or driving on dirt roads. And by a lot of questions, I mean literally none at all. But hey, this is my channel, so I'm gonna make a video about it anyway.
Now, you may be aware that I shoot and edit videos with Harry Wagner for the Driving Line channel here on YouTube. And we're just wrapping up a whole series on air pressure issues for four-wheeling and overlanding. If you want to check those videos out, I made a playlist that you can find in the comments.
Now, if you don't want to listen to me or Harry talk about this, I've got good news for you. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of other videos here on YouTube with middle-aged, tattooed beard bros standing in front of tactical 4x4s trying to tell you how you need to let air out of your tires. So what's different about me? I don't have any tattoos at all. So why do I even need to air down at all? Simple, you don't.
If you drive down a dirt road and you don't air down, literally nothing will happen. No one is going to pop out of a rooftop tent and give you a ticket for not airing down. Your car won't stop working. That guy in the Bronco will just drive by you like you don't exist either way. I shot these clips of driving toll road for my last video without airing down or turning on four-wheel drive. As you can see, I made it almost to the top before the truck exploded.
There are some reasons why you might want to air down though, and the main one is that the tires will be softer, so the ride will be more comfortable, and you'll be able to go a little bit faster on some of these bumpy roads.
On paved roads, you're traveling at high speeds with lots of traction, so you want a high pressure tire for stability and efficiency. But on a dirt road, you're traveling at lower speeds on a surface with less traction and more bumps. All the bumps on rocky dirt roads transmit a lot of force into your vehicle. While your vehicle is totally designed to handle all that force, it's uncomfortable for the passengers and means that you have to drive at lower speeds to maintain control. At lower air pressures, your tires will deform over the bumps and transmit less shock to your vehicle, making it more comfortable for the passengers and easier to maintain control at slightly higher speeds.
So when you lower the pressure in your tires, the rubber of the tire will conform to the trail and the objects there, and that means more traction. And when the going gets tough or steep, then you'll have an easier time getting through. It's really hard to overstate the value of lowering your tire pressure in low traction situations, particularly in snow and sand and on rocks. Lowering your tire pressure can often make the difference between getting stuck and getting through.
How do I even air down?
So how do you air down in the first place? Well, we did a whole video on this as well on the Driving Line channel with Harry Situations, and where we tested all sorts of different methods for letting air out of your tires. I know it sounds silly, but it can be more complicated than you might think. If you want to see all of those tests, how long they take, and what our conclusions were, there's a link in the below to go over to and watch that video, and I recommend you do that. But if you want to cut to the chase, here's what I recommend. These are the TerraFlex deflators for letting air out of your tires. Basically, it's 4 of these little deflators, and it's just a simple aluminum, machined aluminum thing, and you screw this onto your valve stem, and it just holds the valve open and lets air out. It's really compact, it's very simple, there's nothing to break or fail at all, really. The only thing that you can do is just leave them on too long and lower your pressure way too much. Now, the way that I use these is I take the first one, and I go and I put it on the tire, and as you screw it on, the air starts coming out, and then I'll wait about 30 seconds, and I'll go to the next one, and I'll put that one on, and the air will start coming out. And then I wait about 30 seconds, I go to the next one, and air starts coming out, and go to the fourth one. And then you also need a gauge, a tire pressure gauge like this. I recommend the dial ones because I think they're easier to read and they're probably more accurate. That may not be the case. But once you screw these on, you can just put the gauge right over it and read the pressure as it's coming out. So when the first tire reaches your set pressure, whatever that is, just simply take it off, and then you should have enough time to go to the next one, check the pressure, take that one off, and then just complete the circuit all the way around the vehicle, and then you're done. Now, it's not super critical if all 4 tires are at the exact same pressure, or even if that you're exactly the target pressure that you were going for. Within a couple pounds, I would say is just fine for what we're doing here. Just get it close and head on down the road.
How low do I go?
That's a good question, and it can be kind of nuanced, but it also is kind of simple. we recommend that you start with half the recommended street pressure for your vehicle. Now, all vehicles have a little sticker inside the driver door panel that will tell you what the recommended pressure is for driving around on the street. For this one, it's 30 psi. So cut it in half. With the stock Tacoma, you can run 15 psi. To be honest, when I first got this truck, 15 psi seemed kind of low to drive around in, so I ran it at 20. And 20 psi was a great pressure for driving around on dirt roads, really smooth things out, and it worked well for me. So find whatever lower pressure you're comfortable with and just go with it. You can adapt as conditions and your experience level changes. If low is good, lower is better, right? Well, you might be tempted to think that if 20 is good, 10 is going to be even better. You might be right, but you might also be wrong too.
As a general rule, I'll run extremely low pressures only in snow and on sand. Last season we went snow wheeling and I dropped down to 8 psi on our Nitto pizza cutters. The improvement in traction and flotation going from 15 down to 8 was huge. And if you find yourself stuck in snow or sand, try lowering your pressure down to about 10 psi to get out.
Be careful because there are consequences for going too low. The main one being that your tire bead will come off the wheel. And that means that the tire is no longer connected to the wheel, not holding air, can't use it at all. Now, even if you have an air compressor in your vehicle, there's really no good way for you to reseat that bead on the trail.
How even do I air back up?
This is a pretty critical question because once you've lowered your tire pressure by 1/2, then it really isn't safe to drive on regular roads. You risk losing control of your vehicle if you're driving at highway speeds, and you risk damaging your tires. Now, the easiest way to air up your tires is to just stop at a gas station that's near the end of the trail that you're on.
It's not uncommon to find gas station with compressor at the end of a trail. For example, Toll Road, Sunrise Pass Road, Peavine Peak Road, and even Dog Valley Road are easy roads that you could air down for and all have gas stations with pumps near the end.
That's not a really reliable strategy, to be honest. I find that the gas station air compressors are about as reliable as McDonald's ice cream machines. So you might want to find a better way to fill up when you get off the trail. And that's why a lot of us carry around a 12-volt air compressor. The simplest option is something like this Smitty-built air compressor that we used for a bunch of years. It's portable. You connect it to your car's battery with these jumper cables here, and then it just has a standard air nozzle here, and you go around and fill up your tires. It works fine, it's loud, it gets pretty hot, but it doesn't cost that much, and you can use it on whatever vehicle you're taking out for the day. You can fill up more than one vehicle. You can take it away from your vehicle and fill up something that's farther away as long as there's a battery. So that's a pretty good option. The option that I've gone with is I actually have an ARB single air compressor in this cubby here in the truck. I've got it all wired in, and I have a air outlet right here. I can just plug into it with a hose. I have an inflator valve here that has a nice dial gauge on it that's handy and pretty accurate with this nice little clip-on style fitting for the valve stem. I also have just a nice lightweight air hose that reaches all 4 tires, no problem. I do recommend the ARB air compressor. It is pretty expensive, but it comes with all the wiring and the fuses and the switches that you need to do a full install. And this one has the switch, and you have to have the ignition set to the on position for it to come on so you won't drain your battery. I guess you could still drain the battery. I guess I have drained the battery. Not sure why I do that. This compressor airs up my tires pretty quickly. I don't have a specific number about how fast it airs them up, but it's fast enough. Sure, the double compressor would be a little bit faster, but the extra expense and the inconvenience of finding a place to mount such a big compressor just wasn't interesting to me. Okay, so now you know why you might want to air down your tires for driving on dirt roads, how low you might want to go, how to do it, and how to air back up. What do you think? What do you like to use? What's your target pressure? Or maybe you think that airing down is pointless and you don't do it at all. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and happy trails.